it seemed to start off well, and it seemed like that it didn't turn out to be like you wanted it to be. Am I correct with saying that?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
How do you start it off, and how do you lose control of it?
Again, I wasn't aware. This ownership thing is new for me.
Okay.
It's something that I just kind of started to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And when I created R&B Divas, literally, I just saw a void. I saw the Housewives. I saw a bunch of stuff out there, and I was like, you know what? There could be a great opportunity for us to tell a real story about what it's like to be a 90s R&B artist, the struggles. It was really an opportunity for us to rebuild our careers. And so I auditioned everybody. I flew people down to Atlanta. I shot the sizzle reel. I cast the show. Oh yeah, me and my husband, shit, right. My husband's like, "Were you trying to do what?" I'm like, "No, babe, this is gonna work, trust me." But a big important part of this that I'm leaving out is R&B Divas was born of a show called Soul Kittens Cabaret, which Selena did, Faith did, Angie Stone did, Monifa did. All the women who are in R&B Divas were a part of my musical stage play, Soul Kittens Cabaret, and we were shooting kind of the behind the scenes, everything that kind of goes on in our space. So we said, let's just take this to some networks. So long and short, did the sizzle reel. Faith, I knew we needed an anchor. I knew we needed somebody that people would be like, everybody loves Faith. So she would be the anchor of this thing. So she was like, let me know when you put it together, who you bring on board, send it over. She's like, I'm down, let's do this together. So her then manager, who I'm not gonna name, because I'm gonna try to be nice.
Okay.
She asked me if I would, bring him on board to help us pitch it, because, that was 10 years ago.
Right, sure.
So 11 years ago, because the show came out 10 years ago, but it was like 11 years ago when pitching things as a woman who's a singer, they want you to shut up and sing. Nobody really would take me that seriously, right? So he pitched it to TV One, and they picked it up. What I did not know is that I needed to own it. I knew that I'm attached to it, for life.
Right,
I created it.
Sure.
But my contribution to it was minimized because people saw it as an opportunity. It became a hit show. It became the show that basically saved TV One.
Right.
And everybody else wanted it. And
how do you not own it? What would you have to do to own
because
something?
that wasn't, the way that I would have owned it would have been to, ownership, number one, requires you to make some contribution to it. So the fact that I created it and cast it and shot the sizzle reel for it and spent quite a bit of money wasn't enough.
Damn.
Right? They needed to give it to the production company that I brought on board unknowingly because they had more experience. Nobody said, Nicci, this is how you stay involved in it. This is how you are. But the thing is, Mona Scott doesn't own Love and Hip Hop. A lot of, people have it confused. Like the ownership, the only person really doing the ownership, I don't know what people's business of their deals are, but I'm assuming that Viacom and VH1 own that. Like you would assume Starz owns Power, right? When you do an overall deal, everything you create, you don't leave with it, stays with them.
Sure.
So that was kind of the scenario versus Tyler, who is a person who's brilliant, who shoots it, licenses it, and co-owns it. Or fully owns it and just gives them the distribution money. So that wasn't something that we were doing a lot in Hollywood. That wasn't something that we were educated with. And it was when I started working with the gentleman who shall remain nameless, who's like a uncle, I will say to me, who put the resources behind Tyler. His name is, there I go, nameless. So he was like, you have to own. And he learned that from the work that he had done with our brother Tyler. He was like, from now on when you go, because I pitched it to him before I pitched it to TV One. And he said, I don't like to watch no bunch of has-been R&B singers. Like he kept it really real with me. I went, met with a producer, hey, we want to produce a show. He said, I don't think people are really trying to see a bunch of has-been watch R&B singers because he kept it so real with me, right? And it became the huge successful show that it was. And then he later came back and he was going to get behind the tour. And he was like, Nicci, everything you do from here on out, you have to co-own it. You have to co-own it and license it. So every deal I did from there was about co-ownership and licensing and creating something, giving birth to something is enough for me to be able to say I should be a co-owner
Sure.
of this.
I feel you. on that.
And I didn't know it, and nobody told me. And then when I wised up about it and I realized what was happening and how we were getting off the rails, and we're taking these women who had these incredible careers in music that everybody loved, and it was turning into, let's do what they do on Love and Hip Hop. Let's do what they do on The Housewives. And the final straw being a gun being pulled on my husband, and we doing reality TV. And that's the wrong guy for that to happen. It was about to go, you don't understand.
I don't understand.
To go into a whole nother
Why he
realm
the
of
wrong
what
guy?
this was.
Why he the wrong guy?
Well, anybody's the wrong guy.
That's what I'm saying. Why him? So
Well,
your
the reason why I said in this particular
That's
the
what he
reason
said.
why I said so in this particular situation is because
He had his
he's
gun.
the guy. No. Well, I'm not gonna say all that. I mean, obviously, he's a veteran Marine, so But,
Oh, he a Marine?
But what I'm saying,
Oh, yeah, you're
so
wrong
what
guy.
I'm saying is, no, and not even for that reason.
Shit, that's
No,
wrong
not
guy
even
right there.
no.
I know some Marine shit.
Not even for that reason. But because he's a person who never was on camera, he was
Right.
never trying to be about that life.
Right.
He was never in the fray of any of that, right? So those people who just mind their business and stay off to the side and don't want to be brought into the bullshit, when you bring them into the bullshit, then they
Ooh,
bout the
it's
shit,
on 10.
right? So then, and it was really a situation where some words were exchanged, and another guy was like, "Well, he's so big, I better go get my gun," and really, and
Right.
and they squashed it. I'm not, like,
Right.
But the fact is, in a climate where people are, and it all happened because me and Selena got into this argument, this, clips all over the world. And when I see those clips of SpongeBob, SquarePants, all that shit, I don't think about, oh, she read me. I think about that's the night my husband could have gotten killed.
Oh.
I think that's the night
Right.
somebody could have lost their life because that's the night that shit went down. And everybody else thinks it's just a really good joke. And I'm like, I created the show, got everybody a check. And now I am in a situation on some dumb shit where I now have to leave it because I promised God, I promised myself, and I promised my family. If it ever got to the point where I felt like it was going that way, then I'm going that way. And I made that decision that night, and it was done.
But now so it was real beef between you and Selena?
No, well, okay. So
it's not made up stuff?
It was made up shit that became real.
Oh, wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So what it was we had made this pact with each other that we were going to, regroup after situations that felt tense. There was this whole, you gotta turn things up a little bit because,
Sure,
gotta
ratings.
make sure of TV. Some of the women came to me and was like, oh yeah, they told me to set you up. They've come to me, all of them have pretty much come and apologized one way or the other.
Sure.
And I was being set up because I was Sister Soldier. And I was like, we are not going to be on this. We're not going to be fighting. We're not going to have all these drinks and people drunk. We're not about to destroy our images and our, people are hating us. And then it was like, Nicci Gilbert's a terror to work with per deadline.com. They're going to fire her tomorrow. She's horrible. Nobody likes her. And I was like, oh shit. And when I was young, dumb, and full of, I cared about that. It really fucked me up. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No.
It really messed me up.
Sure.
Because I was like, no, I created this for us to win. What's going on?
What's going on?
Why is this happening? And then when I looked to the people that I felt benefited quite a bit from this, that looked like me and maybe understood because they're younger than us, they don't know our music, they just doing TV. And I'm not disrespecting what they're accustomed to doing. I get it now. I understand what they were doing. They were making a hit show.
Sure.
I just think that when you got divas and you got all kind of shit, we got so much story to tell. I think that first season was fire. I think that second season had the potential to be fire, and it was organic. We were real friends coming together trying to do some real shit. And I think when people started to, she don't like you. She said, your son got a big head. She told me when that catty, messy, and the people that were supposed to be there to protect us and to protect our brands
Got caught into that whole
was like,
deal.
they're gonna fire Nicci up. So stay away from her. And as I was, when people started telling me what they were actually saying, I was like, damn, word? Mm-hmm. Like it was a concerted, like it was a whole like, she thinks let's tear her down. And that's exactly what happened. Until this day, there are people who don't like me and think I'm just this mean, angry, trying to control everybody person. And I am the most look out for everybody, make sure we're all eating, make sure we're all good person in this fucking business. And I learned then that friendships are transactional in this business. You can't take that shit personally. And I've now learned, let's go get this money. But you're not gonna do anything with me that I don't co-own. Period. My likeness will never, which is why I choose kind of the environments that I go into, because people will cut and edit. I'm so passionate and have so much to say, like people will cut some shit up and be like, damn, not getting the whole conversation. It's like my friend says, they read the headline and not the story.
But if you're in front of that camera, that's what happens,
So you know what the thing is, and that is why I left. Because I realized, so you have so many people out here talking about, well, reality. People don't realize I did 2 seasons, and by season 2, when the gun was put on my husband, it was a wrap. It was no going back. It was done. That was 10 years ago.
Right.
I only stayed in it for 2 seasons. When I left, the shit went away. Lessons people, still trying to think that they stuff gonna prosper. It's just something me and God and the universe gotta understand it, because I'm not coming from the wrong place. I'm never trying to hurt nobody.
Okay. Go to manscaped.com. Put in the discount code PANIC, bam, like you see, say PANIC right here, and get 20% off and free shipping and handling. Come on now. You're getting the Performance 4.0 package, y'all. I ain't lying to you, man. Get this right here. This is going to save you, man. We got to clean America up. And let's start off with your region down there, okay? Your ball sack area. Let's start cleaning up with that. Holla at your boy. I'll see you around with you being clean. I don't need to see you clean, but I'm going to take your word, all right? Manscaped.com. If you like that clip, hit the subscribe button or the notification bell. In fact, why don't you hit both of them?